Hi there everybody, Ken here from Ken's Christmas Village. I've just had a stroke of luck. I've been out to the January sales and bought a few bits like you do when you know you shouldn't. And I picked up one of these little beauties. It's a very small stall. Oh, it's turning around the right way so you can see it. Called the Rolling Roasters coffee truck. It's a lovely little piece and I managed to get it for under £10 in the January sale. So I couldn't resist it. It was a cracking little bargain. But as many of you that may have this will know, it comes without a light in. So the poor little fella is sitting selling coffee in the dark, and you will also know that I don't like that. I don't like poor guys working in stalls in the dark. So this is what I've done. Okay, you will now see that this vehicle has a light inside for the guy to work with. And what I've done is I've put it, as you can see in the front, up in the center, where there would be kind of a map light. This is an old VW truck, and I kind of think that there'd be a map light up above the head. So I've put it there so that I think it looks quite realistic. I'll tell you what I've used later on, but what I'm going to do is disconnect this and explain to you how I installed the light. Because this is quite a small piece, and actually the floor underneath is glued in. So unlike the Cocoa trucks, which you may have seen me put lights in before, I couldn't unscrew the bottom and take it out. It would mean breaking the glue, and I didn't really want to do that. So I looked very carefully inside. And if you look inside, just behind the guy, just here, there's a driver's seat over this side. It's a left-hand drive. So behind where the man is serving coffee, there is the passenger seat. And there's a corner just in there with some space around it. And I looked at that and thought, do you know what? If I drill a hole, and if you start looking at it, you'll see it was kind of underneath this sign. You'll see there, I drilled a hole up through the bottom. I thought I could get a wire up and put a light in. So I drilled through the base with a very small drill bit, very, very carefully. And then what I discovered was once I got through the bottom of the truck, there's then an infill, which is obviously the floor that the guy actually stands on. So there were two layers that I had to drill through. So when you get through and you don't see your drill bit pop out at the top, don't fret, just drill a little more carefully and you'll come up inside the truck. Make sure you don't go too far forward as you'll drill up underneath the passenger seat. We don't want that, we want just behind the passenger seat. So my challenge then was getting the wire through. Now, although it was quite easy to poke the cable up, because the wire's over in the corner, tucked away, when I put the cable in and put it through the top hole, it wouldn't go straight down and through the bottom. So I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to get that wire through? And I came up with an idea. First of all, I'm going to show you what I used. I used one of these little LEDs with a sticky back. I used a warm white because I thought that would suit better the character of an old VW van. What I then did, and I'm going to put up here in a moment some photos so you can see what I did because it was hard to show you. Once I'd got this installed, I didn't want to take it out, so it's hard for me to show you. What I did was I take one of these plastic sleeves. These are what are used, they're heat shrink. So they're used to slip over cables when you're connecting two cables together. You then pull it over the joint and then you heat it with a candle or a lighter, and it melts and shrinks around the cable and forms a seal. All I want this to be was a carrier for my cable. So I poked this up through the hole until it came out of the top. I had to fish it out with a pair of pliers because it came out right in the corner. A pair of little tweezers. I just went in and pulled it back so I could access it. And you're seeing the photos. What I then did was take my cable, this end of the cable, fed it into the tube, and then pulled the tube back through with my cable. And Bob's your uncle, it came out the bottom, ready to connect. I've then, for the time being, put one of these sockets on the end, and I can then plug in to a standard Lemax adapter. And there you go, a truck with a light in. I think that looks cracking. I think he's going to be far happier now he can work in the dark. I think it looks authentic with the light up in the center there. I was very pleased. Just take care when you're drilling this hole that you're in the right position behind that little menu that he's got there. Look in and out to make sure you're drilling through the right piece. then just do it very carefully and then follow the instructions of using one of these heat shrinks to put your cable through and draw it back down, and you'll get your cable in. What I then did was take the adhesive off the back of the LED, which I put down somewhere now. The LED here, this little LED that I used, a single LED. It's a warm white, as I said, because I think it suits the truck. I took the adhesive off that and then very carefully used my finger just to push that up against the roof of the vehicle and stuck it in place. And there you have a light inside that looks like it's the reading light of the van. I think it looks great. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you find it useful. If any of you do it to your own little trucks, please let me know. It's really nice to find out that you've used these little tips and you found them useful and got lights in your vehicles, and show me a picture of it. I'd love to see them. Anyway, thank you for your time. Happy villaging, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.